Welcome to the Bare Metal Cyber Security Plus podcast. This series helps you prepare for the CompTIA Security Plus exam with focused explanations and practical context. For a companion study guide, check out the Achieve CompTIA Security Plus 701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. It is the most concise and complete Security Plus guide on the market, built for busy professionals who want to pass the exam fast and on their first try. You can find this book and others at cyberauthor.me. Business Impact Analysis, commonly called BI, is a foundational part of business continuity and risk management. It helps organizations understand the true consequences of downtime, data loss, or system failure. By identifying what is at stake, business impact analysis drives planning decisions, recovery investments, and risk prioritization. In this episode, we explore two essential components of BI: recovery objectives and system reliability metric. These include recovery time objective, recovery point objective, mean time to repair, and mean time between failures. Let's begin with recovery objectives. These are measurable targets that define how quickly and how completely systems and data must be restored after a disruption. The two most important terms here are recovery time objective and recovery point objective. Recovery time objective refers to the maximum acceptable amount of time a system or process can be offline before it causes unacceptable damage to the business. It is a time-based goal that sets the upper limit for downtime. For example, if a company's email system goes offline, the recovery time objective might be 2 hours. That means the system must be restored within 2 hours to avoid significant harm to operations. Recovery point objective, on the other hand, refers to the maximum amount of data loss the organization can tolerate, measured in time. In other words, how much data can be lost between the last backup and the disruption. If the recovery point objective is 1 hour, then systems must be backed up at least every hour to meet that standard. Let's walk through a practical example. Imagine a retail company that relies on a database to process sales transactions. Through the business impact analysis process, the organization determines that losing more than 15 minutes of sales data would lead to financial discrepancies and customer frustration. That means the recovery point objective is 15 minutes. They also determined that the system must be restored within 1 hour to avoid backlogs and lost sales, making the recovery time objective 1 hour. Based on these objectives, the organization selects a database backup solution with real-time replication and invests in a failover server located in a different region. Recovery objectives are not one-size-fits-all. Different systems and processes will have different values based on their criticality to the business. For example, a system that supports financial transactions or emergency response must be restored faster and with less data loss than a system that tracks internal metrics or supports administrative tasks. It is also important to balance recovery objectives with cost. Achieving a recovery time objective of near zero requires high availability systems and redundant infrastructure, which can be expensive. Business impact analysis helps justify these costs by linking them to potential losses if objectives are not met. Organizations must weigh the cost of downtime against the cost of prevention and determine what level of investment is reasonable. Now let's explore system reliability metrics, starting with mean time to repair. Mean time to repair, often abbreviated as MTTR, is the average time it takes to restore a system or component after a failure. It includes the time needed to detect the issue, diagnose the problem, repair the failure, and return the system to normal operation. Mean time to repair is used to evaluate how quickly an organization can respond to and recover from incidents. It reflects the effectiveness of monitoring systems, the availability of support personnel, and the complexity of system architecture. A low MTTR means the organization can bounce back quickly, which contributes to meeting the recovery time objective. Let's look at a real-world scenario. A mid-sized law firm experiences a hardware failure in one of its document storage servers. Because the support team has pre-configured alerts and documented procedures, they identify the issue immediately, replace the failed component within 20 minutes, and restore all services in under an hour. Over time, The average time across all server issues is calculated to be 52 minutes. That is the mean time to repair. This metric is shared with leadership as part of the business continuity dashboard and used to justify investments in faster replacement parts and technician training. Next is mean time between failures. This metric tracks the average length of time between system failures. It is often used to measure the reliability of hardware, software, or entire systems. The longer the mean time between failures, the more reliable the system. Mean time between failures is especially important for components that must operate continuously, such as power supplies, routers, or backup systems. A system with a low MTBF may be inexpensive up front, but it may introduce hidden costs due to frequent outages, maintenance demands, or customer disruption. Let's consider another scenario. A manufacturing company uses networked sensors to monitor the temperature of sensitive equipment. After reviewing 3 months of data, they find that one model of sensor fails every 25 days, while another model averages over 180 days between failures. The mean time between failures for the first model is 25 days. The organization chooses to phase out the less reliable sensors in favor of the second model, even though the cost per unit is slightly higher. This improves system uptime and reduces maintenance workload. The decision was based directly on business impact analysis and reliability metrics. Both mean time to repair and mean time between failures help inform business continuity planning. If your systems take a long time to repair or fail often, then your recovery time objectives may not be realistic without upgrades or procedural changes. On the other hand, if your systems are highly reliable and recovery times are consistently fast, then more aggressive recovery time objectives may be feasible. Business impact analysis brings all of these ideas together. It starts by identifying critical business functions, evaluating the systems and data those functions depend on, and then assigning appropriate recovery objectives and reliability metrics. The result is a clear understanding of which areas need the most protection and how to structure investments in backup systems, incident response, and vendor support. From an exam perspective, you will need to know how to calculate and interpret recovery time objective, recovery point objective, mean time to repair, and mean time between failures. Expect scenario questions that describe a disruption and ask whether the organization met its objectives. You might also see questions that ask you to identify which objective is being described based on context. Here is a helpful tip. If the question involves how much time a system can be down, it is referring to recovery time objective. If the question discusses how much data loss is acceptable, it is recovery point objective. If it describes how long it takes to fix a failure, it is mean time to repair. And if it describes how often failures occur, it is mean time between failures. These distinctions will help you decode and answer questions accurately. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cybersecurity Plus podcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com. And before you take the test, make sure to check out the practice questions in the book Achieve CompTIA Security Plus SY0-701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. They cover every domain and are a powerful way to lock in your knowledge.